So my sense is that part of the criticism and the confusion from Americans, well, there are I think two causes. One, you have a Hamas office here. Mm-hmm. And Hamas has been designated, I think, repeatedly by the U.S. government, certainly by the Congress, as a terror organization. And people say, well, how could you have a Hamas office here? What is that?
We have to go back to the root of this office. Like, why it's here in the first place. And Hamas office, when it was opened here in the first place, it was opened with full transparency and full consultation and actually even request from the U.S. And
the U.S. asked you to put a Hamas office here?
They have asked us to open the channels with them and to have an established communication channel with the same case what was applied to Taliban as well. And look, at the end of the day, if you have a presence of someone in your country and you are engaging and talking, it doesn't mean that you are endorsing his ideas. It doesn't mean that you are supporting him. The purpose of this office was to facilitate peace, to stabilize the region, and to make sure that always it's serving the purpose. And you can go through even everything all the events that happened in the recent 10 years since the office was officially opened here in Doha. How many peace deals been brokered from that office through that channel? Many of them. 2014 was the discussion and the negotiations was initiated here and ended in Egypt. In 2018, 2020 and 21, with all those escalations, and many of escalations that we avoided to prevent wars. There are plenty of them. You will lose count. Then, after 7th of October, the first hostage deal that released the hostages, the women and children, was 109, and the foreigners, was 109 hostages. November 23 happened through that office. The second hostage deal, which we are going through right now, it was produced out of this office. So the office is a communication channel, and it doesn't make me, feeling shy that I speak with someone whom I have a disagreement with. President Trump spoke with North Korea. He didn't shy out from him. He met with him, he engaged with him. He wants to put an end for the conflict. He wants to make a deal with him. He's a deal maker. And this country basically is brokering deals.
Initially at the request of the U.S. government?
Yes. And it continued like everything that we did. Look, Taker, what I'm confident that throughout the years that I've been working under the leadership of the Emir, we are sure that every step we are taking, we are very transparent, coordinating with the US, and making sure that we are doing the right thing. So I have nothing wrong that I did that I am shying away from. I know that we have a lot of attacks, and unfortunately, we have attacks from the US legislation, like from the Congress many times, that although we did it at the request of the government, yet the Emir always tell me that if we are able to save a single life, it's worth everything. And I'll tell you something, we've been under a significant attack in the last 15 months during this war in Gaza. Unbelievable. No one would handle such an attack. And we worked tirelessly on achieving this deal. And the moment we went out to announce that a deal being achieved, and we see the celebration in the streets, whether it's in Gaza or in Israel, that moment makes us forget everything.
You've been attacked with the U.S. Congress. The core question for me is, if Qatar is an enemy of the United States, why is our air base here? Have there been calls to remove the airbase?
Well, there are like some voices who are unfortunately very much misinformed that this is very critical for the U.S. security to be here in this region. And, you know, actually the base itself, when it's moved, the first place, it was moved after September 11
Yes.
to Doha. And it was a very risky decision for any country to take it. And we took it. We took it because of the friendship that we have with the U.S., because of the partnership that we are committing ourselves together with the U.S. Yeah? And it turned out to be like the most important U.S. base outside the United States. And basically it served the security of the United States, but also it served the stability of
One of the criticisms of your country is that you're too close to Iran. And I should say you're very physically close to Iran.
Yeah, we are physically close.
How
to Iran.
close?
Yeah. It's around 120 miles away.
Right across the water.
Yeah. It's just, you know, you can have a boat ride in 90 minutes, you are there.
So how would you describe your relationship with Iran? And why do you think you're being criticized for it?
Look, it's, you know, Iran has a lot of problems with the West. We understand that, we acknowledge that. They have problems with the region, with countries in the region, yes. At the end of the day, Iran is, you know, our next door neighbor. And we have to maintain a good relation with all our neighbors. We have a lot of things in common when it comes to the gas field, the largest gas field in the world. It's partnership between us and Iran. It's two-thirds of it in the Qatari territory and one-third is in the Iranian territory.
This is in the Gulf. This is undersea.
Yeah, this is the one in the Gulf Sea. You have, I have to coordinate on environmental issues, like, for example, the water contaminations. I have to coordinate on security issues like smuggling. I have to have this relationship, this working relationship with Iran. But also when you think about it from a bigger perspective, it's for the interest of the region to have a better relation for everyone in the region with Iran. And you have seen that there is a huge progress in the relationship with Iran and between Iran and the GCC in the last few years. And basically, even the disagreement that we had in certain policies, for example, we worked against each other in Syria for 14 years.
Against Iran.
Against Iran, yeah.
Right, which was backing Hezbollah,
yeah,
and you were opposed.
And the same thing in Lebanon, and those differences are put aside when it comes to the bilateral. We made the bilateral as a relationship of necessity, that we need to have this engagement together all the time. Those disagreements, we talk about them, we try to understand each other's concern, and we try to find a common ground. And basically, that's what we expect from other countries to do when they are, you know, around neighbors that some others has disagreements with. You need to engage. Now, this is criticized in the U.S. that we are close to Iran. In terms of what? In terms of policies that has controversies with the U.S.? It's not true. Our policies has been very clear. Our policy is based on principles. Our policy has zero enemies. We have to have friends with everyone. We would like to see peace in our region. We would like to see a peace around the world. If we see innocent people under attack, whatever their backgrounds, we will always help them and will support them. These are the things that our foreign policy standing for. So if they see me that, you know, this is like putting me on a club on the other, they are watching me from thousands of miles away. They don't know what's happening in this region. They have no knowledge about it. This relationship, it's an important relationship, not for me, for the entire GCC and for the entire GCC stability. Look, Tucker, I think that there is a misunderstanding, or let's say maybe it's more about a legacy issue, that the US needs to take care of the whole world problem. This shouldn't be the case. Each region needs to address their own problems, needs to make sure that this region is stable. The US is the friend and the ally of and partner of all the GCC countries. So the US expects from us to come to them with vision, that this is the way we would like to see the region, and that's the way we are going to work on the region. And we would like to have also your support in that direction. That's, I believe, how the relationship should work between us and the US. Not, I'm waiting for the US, what's the problem between them and Iran, and then I based my dealing with Iran based on what the US want. The US is waiting to listen to me, what I need from Iran, because I am the friend of the US and Iran is my next door neighbor. And basically, I think this misunderstanding, or let's say the legacy issue, that's what's driving this whole narrative floating here and there. I think that, one day everything will be resolved diplomatically. If I take a stand against my neighbor because of an external issue, very strong stand, what I'm going to do if those two adversaries come together?
So I think it's the policy of your government that you oppose Iran getting nuclear weapons. Certainly your neighbors are on the record against it. How close do you think Iran is to getting a nuclear weapon, to building one?
Well, look, actually, a nuclear weapon is bad for the region, for any country, whether it's Iran or any other country. But also, like, when it comes to, developing a nuclear program, there are concerns, of course, whenever any nuclear program is developed around your region. And those concerns can be not only a military concerns, but also a security and safety concerns. That, as I mentioned to you, if the water is contaminated, the nuclear facilities.
How does the Ukraine war end, do you think?
Well, look, there is a lesson that history taught us, that there is no war started with one of the parties wants the war. Always two parties, they don't want the war, and they end up in a war. And there is no war ended without a negotiation around the negotiation table to find a peaceful solution, despite how long it took. So this war will end at the end of the day around the negotiations. Now, if you look at the recent efforts that President Trump is doing, and together with the Kingdom of Saudi, I believe this is the right direction, the right path forward. Because, we were when the war started, as a state of Qatar, we always express our willingness to help, to support, if there is any chance for mediation. We looked at it, it's something far away, it's in Europe. Yet, we have some experience in mediation, which is a track record that we have built throughout the year. We need to try something new. We need to try things that we are not even, thinking about. Yes, we agree. The two-state solution. We've been talking about, we never tried it. Have we ever tried it and didn't work? Does this country that's established next to Israel will be a threat for Israel? It's a threat as long as it's not a country. And we said that we are willing to provide security guarantees for Israel. All of us, we will be integrated together as one region and demilitarized Palestinian state even. So it's not even a fully independent.
Not even a real country. Yeah. It's demilitarized.
So it's basically everything you are offering, and in exchange, we were always either because of their political situation in Israel, we were always faced by rejections. There were just few leaders in Israel who had the courage to come out and to say that this is the only solution. This is the only way forward. But in the last few years, we didn't see any of them.